Yeah, more talk of the French government now. In fact, we're going to look at what's happening in the French papers. Of course, though, resistance in Parliament to the government using that constitutional loophole to push its controversial labour code reform through. Talking about it in the news, of course, drawing a lot of criticism from the press, isn't it, Flo?
That's right. That's the 49.3, the 49.3. That's the article, in fact, in the French Constitution that allows the government to bypass the Parliament. Let's take a look at the front page of L'Opinion, the pro-business paper that says that the 49.3 is ringing in the beginning of the end. Clearly, François Hollande and his government are completely paralyzed because anytime they try to push anything through Parliament, it becomes this political psychodrama. And I really like this cartoon today here. You can see François Hollande on this horse, which represents the Socialist Party. And you can see it has all sorts of broken legs, including this latest broken leg, which is the labor code reform. And you can see Hollande whipping the horse, trying to get it to jump over that hurdle, which represents 2017, of course, the presidential election. And that horse doesn't look too enthusiastic or capable of going over that obstacle.
No, poor old horse. Critics then saying that 49.3 is very undemocratic. Others saying on the contrary that actually no, it's just a democratic tool.
That's right. That's what Les Echos, the business paper, is saying. It says, look, what we're witnessing here is simply politics. It might be a little bit rough around the edges and brutal, but Article 49.3 is not a corruption of democracy. It's actually a safeguard that protects democracy because it ensures that a minority, and in this case that minority is essentially what we call les frondeurs, these socialist left-wing rebels. So it ensures that that minority doesn't block the majority from passing laws and actually getting things done in this country.
A lot of papers pointing out the whole episode really just proof of those enormous divisions on the left.
That's right. The Parisien likens the 49.3 to a stick of dynamite, in fact. Prime Minister Manuel Valls has blasted the left wing. Divisions are so bad that some left-wing MPs are actually considering backing a motion of censure that's been put forward by the right wing. And Le Parisien says this is completely unheard of. And meanwhile, the right wing is looking on and watching all this, quite amused and quite thrilled by what's going on. Libé, the left-wing paper, is much more disappointed. It says that using the 49.3 is a terrible admission of failure. What we're witnessing here is a divorce within the left. And if you need any further proof of the kind of animosity that we're seeing within the left wing, you just need to look at the front page of L'Humanité, that's the communist paper today, which essentially says that, look, François Hollande and Manuel Valls are censuring the population, so let's censure them. Essentially, it seems like it's kind of a declaration of war from one part of the left towards the other part of the left.
A lot of this going on at Le Figaro, a lot of rubbing hands with glee.
That's right. Le Figaro is quite excited by all these threats that the government is facing. First of all, there's so many questions. Will these left-wing MPs back this motion of censure that's being put forward by right-wing MPs? Will they actually put forward their own motion of censure? Could this spark a government reshuffle and the end of Manuel Valls' government? The suspense is unbearable, according to Le Figaro. However, Le Figaro says, look, it's unlikely that these left-wing MPs will join forces with the right-wing MPs, because if they do so, it probably means they'll be kicked out of the Socialist Party. And if they're kicked out of the Socialist Party, it means probably the end of their political career. So that seems like it's a red line that they won't cross.
Something completely different at the 69th edition of the Cannes Film Festival. Mentioned it in the news as well. Of course, kicking off today, Libération takes a look behind the scenes.
That's right. Libération asks quite a surprising question today. Let's take a look at the front page. It says, what is the point of the Cannes Film Festival?
It's a good point, I suppose.
It's a good point. Okay. It's we've had 69 of them. Perhaps we should have answered this question a while ago. But Libé wonders, is Cannes actually a useful film festival, or is it just completely futile? Is it a celebration of inventive cinema, or is it just a superficial and tacky trade fair? That's what Libé wonders. And Libé asks 12 people who go to the Cannes Film Festival on a regular basis. So you have filmmakers, you even have PR assistants, people who are there quite a lot, to explain the point of the festival and also why it works. It's pretty interesting and unique look at the Cannes Film Festival. LACROIX, the Catholic paper, is also taking a look at this festival. It definitely has stars in its eyes and has turned its spotlight on the red carpet, but it's taking a look at the more business side of things, because behind all the glitz and glamour and stars, the Cannes Film Festival is, after all, all a film market. And LACROIX reminds readers that there are some big contracts in play, especially this year.
Good for champagne sales as well. Now, finally, papers are also focusing on another big event set to kick off just a month from now. The European Football Championship, of course, here in France. Going to be hosted here, isn't it?
That's right. The Euro 2016 kicks off on June 10th. And all eyes in France are on Les Bleus, the national football team. Let's take a look at the front page of Aujourd'hui en France today. You can see they're taking a look at the secret lives of Les Bleus. What do Les Bleus do off the pitch?
Do we want to know?
Do we really want to know? Well, there's actually a new book that's come out. It's called The Hidden Side of Les Bleus, la face cachée des Bleus, and explains what they do during their time off when it comes to money, health, their hobbies, security issues, also a lot of sex, it must be said. So it answers all your burning questions, Stuart. I know you have a lot.
I was wondering.
But it does touch on some interesting things, for instance, what they spend their money on. And actually, there's some surprising TV shows that some of the players are obsessed with. There's one called Les Feux de l'Amour. It's a really soapy soap opera here in France. And so it's an interesting look. If you like Les Bleus, definitely check out Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien. Wonder, though, if this will improve their image, because a recent poll came out that said that 58% of French people have a negative view of Les Bleus. Maybe they just need to win some games, and we'll love them more.
They only have to work 2 or 4 hours a week, don't they? Flo, thanks a lot. Flo with the papers on France 24. In the next half an hour, we're going to bring you a very exclusive report as we film a doctor injecting a runner with a banned substance in Kenya. That just as the World Anti-Doping Agency meets tomorrow to decide if the country can compete in the Rio Olympics. Special report then, about 15 minutes on France 24.